If you don't understand how this system works, reality will never change. 33rd degree knowledge. The concept you're referencing, 33rd degree knowledge, often alludes to esoteric or hidden knowledge, particularly in the context of Freemasonry or occult traditions. The 33rd degree in Freemasonry represents the pinnacle of the Scottish Rite and is often surrounded by myths of ultimate enlightenment or secret wisdom. The idea that understanding a system is key to changing reality aligns with principles found in various philosophical, spiritual, and practical frameworks. Understanding systems thinking. Systems thinking is a holistic approach to understanding how interconnected components within a system influence one another over time. It allows us to see the big picture and understand the underlying structures that drive behaviors and outcomes. By grasping how a system works, we gain the power to influence it meaningfully. Key concepts in systems thinking. 1. Interconnectedness. Systems are composed of parts that interact to form a whole. Changes in one part often ripple through the entire system. Example: in an ecosystem, the removal of a predator can cause overpopulation of prey, which may then overconsume vegetation. 2. Feedback loops. Reinforcing loops amplify changes, e.g., compound interest in finance. Balancing loops stabilize the system, e.g., a thermostat maintaining room temperature. 3. Emergence. Systems produce behaviors or outcomes that cannot be understood simply by analyzing individual components. Example: traffic patterns emerge from the interactions of individual drivers. 4. Delays and nonlinearity. Cause and effect in systems often have time delays, and responses may not be proportional. Example: planting seeds takes time to bear fruit. Adding fertilizer doesn't instantly double yields. 5. Mental models. Our perceptions of how systems work influence our decisions. Misunderstanding the system can lead to ineffective or counterproductive actions. Steps to apply systems thinking. Define the system. Identify its boundaries, components, and purpose. Example: in a business, the system might include employees, management, customers, suppliers, and workflows. Map relationships. Use tools like causal loop diagrams or stock and flow diagrams to visualize interactions. Example: a causal loop diagram of a health system might show how staff shortages lead to burnout, which further exacerbates shortages. Identify leverage points. Look for places where small interventions can lead to significant change. Example: educating the public on recycling might drastically reduce waste in a waste management system. Consider feedback and delays. Predict how your actions might cause ripple effects or unintended consequences. Example: subsidizing fossil fuels might stabilize energy prices short-term but worsen climate change long-term. Test and adapt. Continuously evaluate the system's behavior and refine your approach. Changing reality through systems thinking. 1. Seeing the big picture. Instead of treating symptoms, systems thinking helps address root causes. Example: instead of only building more hospitals to manage disease outbreaks, focus on preventive healthcare and education. 2. Recognizing interdependencies. Understanding the connections between seemingly unrelated parts of the system enables holistic solutions. Example: economic policies that promote renewable energy reduce healthcare costs by improving air quality. 3. Leveraging change points. Focus on high-impact areas where a small change can shift the entire system. Example: empowering women through education can reduce poverty, improve health outcomes, and spur economic growth. 4. Adapting to complexity. Systems are dynamic and ever-changing. By observing and learning, you can better navigate uncertainty. Practical tools for systems thinking. Causal loop diagrams. Visualize cause and effect relationships. Stock and flow models. Analyze how resources accumulate and flow over time. The iceberg model. Distinguish between events, patterns, systemic structures, and mental models. Conclusion. Systems thinking equips you to understand the interconnectedness of life and identify key points for meaningful change. Whether applied to personal growth, organizational development, or societal transformation, this approach fosters sustainable and impactful outcomes. Understanding esoteric knowledge. Esoteric knowledge refers to teachings, wisdom, or insights that are considered hidden, specialized, or accessible only to those who are initiated into a particular discipline, tradition, or spiritual path. The word esoteric originates from the Greek esoterikos, meaning inner or within, suggesting a focus on deeper, often mystical truths not readily available to the uninitiated. Esoteric traditions are found in many cultures and spiritual frameworks, emphasizing personal transformation, the nature of reality, and the connection between the material and the divine. Core principles of esoteric knowledge. 1. The Hermetic principle. Central to many esoteric systems is the Hermetic axiom: as above, so below; as within, so without. This principle highlights the interconnectedness between the macrocosm, universe, and microcosm, individual, suggesting that understanding one helps unravel the mysteries of the other. 2. The hidden and the revealed. Esoteric teachings often use symbolism, allegory, and metaphor to veil truths, requiring seekers to decode and internalize them. Example: alchemy, often thought of as turning lead into gold, is also symbolic of spiritual transformation, refining the base human self into a higher, enlightened state. 3. Initiation and mastery. Access to esoteric knowledge often requires a process of initiation, which may involve rituals, study, or practices that prepare the seeker to grasp deeper truths. Example: Freemasonry's degrees of knowledge, or the stages of enlightenment in mystical traditions. 4. Unity of all things. Many esoteric systems assert that all of existence is interconnected and originates from a single divine source, whether called God, the Absolute, or the One. This unity implies that discovering the divine within oneself is key to understanding the universe. Themes in esoteric knowledge. 1. Sacred geometry. Shapes like the circle, triangle, and spiral are believed to encode universal laws and divine truths. Example: the flower of life is a geometric pattern symbolizing the interconnectedness of all existence. 2. Energy and vibration. Esoteric teachings often describe the universe as fundamentally composed of energy and vibration, aligning with modern quantum theories. Example: the vibration of thoughts and emotions in manifestation practices. 3. Symbolism. Esoteric traditions use symbols to communicate deeper truths. Example: the Ouroboros, a snake eating its tail, symbolizes infinity, cycles, and self-sufficiency. 4. Alchemy of the self. Beyond physical practices, esotericism emphasizes transforming one's inner being to align with universal principles. Example: Carl Jung's concept of individuation, inspired by alchemy, focuses on integrating the conscious and unconscious self. Esoteric practices and traditions. 1. Mystical traditions. Kabbalah, a Jewish mystical system exploring the tree of life, divine emanations, and the nature of existence. Sufism, an Islamic mystical tradition emphasizing love and union with God. 2. Occult systems. Hermeticism, rooted in ancient Egypt and Greece, it teaches the spiritual laws governing reality. Astrology, a system connecting celestial movements to human events and personality traits. 3. Eastern mysticism. Yoga. Beyond physical poses, yoga includes meditative practices to unite with the divine. Taoism, a Chinese tradition emphasizing harmony with the Tao, the Way, the underlying principle of the universe. 4. Western mysteries. Freemasonry, a fraternal order with symbolic teachings about moral and spiritual development. Theosophy, a philosophy blending Eastern and Western esoteric ideas to explore humanity's spiritual evolution. Key goals of esoteric knowledge. 1. Spiritual awakening, recognizing one's divine nature and transcending material illusions. Example: in Gnosticism, gnosis refers to direct knowledge of the divine, freeing the soul from ignorance. 2. Mastery over reality, understanding the hidden principles of nature to influence personal and external realities. Example: the magician archetype in tarot represents the ability to manifest desires through will and knowledge. 3. Inner transformation. Esoteric practices focus on the purification and elevation of the self. Example: meditation and breathwork to achieve higher states of consciousness. 4. union with the divine. The ultimate aim is often described as reuniting with the source of all creation or achieving enlightenment. Esoteric knowledge in the modern world. While esoteric knowledge was historically guarded and transmitted within closed groups, much of it is now accessible to anyone willing to explore it. Popular spiritual movements, books like the Kybalion, and practices like mindfulness have brought esoteric principles into mainstream awareness. However, understanding and applying esoteric knowledge often requires patience, discipline, and a willingness to look beyond literal interpretations to uncover deeper meanings. Conclusion: esoteric knowledge offers profound insights into the nature of reality, personal transformation, and the interconnectedness of all things. Whether through ancient teachings or modern interpretations, it challenges us to see beyond appearances and engage with the mysteries of existence. Understanding metaphysics and manifestation. Metaphysics and manifestation are closely linked to how we perceive and interact with reality, particularly in relation to the nature of existence and the power of thought, intention, and belief. 1. Metaphysics, the study of reality. Metaphysics is the branch of philosophy concerned with the fundamental nature of reality, including concepts such as being, existence, causality, time, space, and the universe as a whole. It explores questions that lie beyond the physical sciences, seeking to answer what is the nature of reality and what is the ultimate cause of all things. Key concepts in metaphysics. Ontology, the study of being and existence. It asks questions like, what does it mean to exist? And what kinds of things exist in the world? Causality, the relationship between cause and effect. This explores how events come into being and the connections between different events in time. Time and space. These are considered the fundamental structures in which all phenomena occur. How do we understand the flow of time or the expanse of space? Mind-body problem. This addresses the relationship between the mental, mind, consciousness, and the physical, body, brain, aspects of existence. Key metaphysical questions. Is reality objective, independent of our perception, or subjective, dependent on our perception? What is the nature of consciousness? Is it a product of the brain or something more transcendent? Is everything in the universe interconnected, or do individual things exist independently? 2. Metaphysical theories. Idealism versus materialism. Idealism, the view that reality is fundamentally mental or immaterial. Famous philosophers like George Berkeley argued that everything is a product of the mind and cannot exist without being perceived. Materialism. In contrast, materialism argues that physical matter is the basis of everything, and the mind and consciousness are products of material interactions, such as brain activity. Dualism. Dualism posits that reality consists of two fundamentally different substances, the physical, matter, and the immaterial, mind, spirit. This was famously advocated by René Descartes, who stated that the mind and body are distinct entities. Holism. Holism suggests that systems and their properties should be viewed as wholes, not just as a collection of parts. In this view, reality is interconnected, and no part can be understood in isolation. 3. Manifestation, the power of thought and intention. Manifestation refers to the idea that we can bring our desires or intentions into reality through focused thought, intention, and action. It's often linked to the concept of creating one's reality, where beliefs and perceptions shape physical outcomes. Manifestation draws from various metaphysical and spiritual traditions, especially those that believe in the power of consciousness to influence the material world. Key concepts in manifestation. Law of attraction, the belief that like attracts like. By focusing on positive thoughts and feelings, you attract positive experiences into your life. Thoughts create reality. This concept suggests that our thoughts, emotions, and beliefs directly influence the external world. The more we focus on something, the more likely it is to manifest in our lives. Vibrational energy. According to manifestation teachings, everything in the universe is made of energy and vibrates at a certain frequency. By aligning your personal energy with the energy of what you desire, you attract those desires to you. Visualization, a technique used to bring about manifestation. By vividly imagining your goals, you focus your energy and bring them into reality. Affirmations, repeating positive statements or mantras that reinforce your intentions and beliefs, helping to reprogram the subconscious mind. The process of manifestation. Set clear intentions, knowing exactly what you want and being clear about your desires. Believe it is possible. Having a deep belief that what you want is not only possible but inevitable. Feel the emotions. Emotions are a key component of manifestation. Feel the excitement, gratitude, or joy as if your desire has already manifested. Visualize. Picture your desire already fulfilled in your mind's eye. Take inspired action. While manifestation focuses on thought and intention, action is still necessary. Act on opportunities or ideas that come your way as a result of your intentions. 4. The role of consciousness in manifestation. A central tenet of manifestation is that consciousness plays a vital role in shaping reality. In metaphysical terms, consciousness is often seen as the lens through which we perceive and create our reality. This idea has roots in both philosophy and quantum physics. Quantum mechanics. Some proponents of manifestation refer to quantum physics, particularly the observer effect, which suggests that the act of observation can affect the outcome of an experiment. This parallels the idea that conscious awareness shapes our experiences. Mind over matter. Many metaphysical schools of thought posit that the mind has the power to influence the material world, even beyond conventional understanding. The connection between metaphysics and manifestation. Manifestation practices often draw on metaphysical ideas such as the law of attraction, the nature of consciousness, and the interconnectedness of all things. The belief is that by aligning your consciousness with the desired outcome and understanding the metaphysical principles of energy and vibration, you can create the reality you want to experience. 5. Criticism and skepticism. While manifestation and metaphysical practices are popular in spiritual and self-help communities, they are not without criticism. Skeptics argue that these concepts often lack empirical evidence and can lead to unrealistic expectations. However, many proponents believe that even if manifestation doesn't always result in tangible material outcomes, it can lead to personal growth, increased focus, and a more positive outlook on life. Conclusion. Metaphysics explores the fundamental nature of reality, existence, and consciousness, offering insights into the deep structures of the universe. Manifestation is a practical application of certain metaphysical ideas, asserting that by focusing our thoughts, emotions, and actions, we can shape the course of our lives. While rooted in ancient wisdom and modern quantum theories, both fields continue to inspire exploration into the nature of reality and human potential. The biblical perspective on reality, manifestation, and metaphysics. The Bible presents a view of reality, existence, and transformation that is deeply theological and centered on the belief in a creator who governs all things. While the Bible does not directly address modern metaphysical theories or the concept of manifestation as we understand them today, it provides rich insights into the nature of the universe, human beings, and how faith, belief, and action influence reality. 1. Creation and the nature of reality. From the beginning of the Bible, the nature of reality is defined by God's creation. In Genesis 1 verse 1, the opening verse declares, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth." This establishes a foundational belief in a divine creator who brings all things into existence by his will and word. Key concepts from Genesis. Ex nihilo, creation from nothing. In contrast to some ancient creation myths, the Bible teaches that God created everything from nothing. This speaks to the absolute power of God's will in the creation of the universe. Divine order. God's creation is orderly and intentional. Everything in the cosmos exists according to a divine plan, and human beings are part of this order. Imago Dei, image of God. Humans are created in the image of God, which implies that human beings are inherently spiritual and have a unique connection to the Creator. This also implies that humans are agents of God's will on earth, with a capacity to shape the world around them according to divine principles. 2. The power of words and faith in shaping reality. In the Bible, words are seen as incredibly powerful, often reflecting divine truth, and they are integral to creating and shaping reality. The idea that belief and words can shape reality echoes metaphysical principles of manifestation, but it is framed within a biblical worldview. Key verses on the power of words. Genesis 1 verse 3. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. God speaks creation into existence, illustrating the power of words to bring about tangible change in the world. Proverbs 18 verse 21. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruits. This highlights the power of speech and words, suggesting that they can bring both positive and negative outcomes. Mark 11 verses 23 to 24. Truly I say to you, whoever says to this mountain, "Be taken up and thrown into the sea," and does not doubt in his heart, but believes that what he says will come to pass, it will be done for him. Jesus speaks about the power of faith and belief, emphasizing that faith can move mountains, literally and metaphorically. This reflects a metaphysical idea that thoughts and beliefs can influence the external world, but it is framed within faith in God's will. 3. Faith and manifestation in the Bible. In the context of manifestation, the Bible teaches that human beings are called to align their desires, thoughts, and actions with God's will. The concept of faith plays a central role in how God's will is brought into action and how prayers, desires, and intentions are actualized. Key verses on faith and manifestation. Hebrews 11 verse 1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Faith in the Bible is often described as a force that helps believers manifest what is not yet visible. In this sense, it is closely related to the idea of belief and trust in something beyond the material world. Matthew 21 verse 22. And whatever you ask in prayer, you will receive, if you have faith. Jesus teaches that prayer combined with faith brings results. This suggests that manifestation of desires is not merely a product of personal will, but of aligning with God's divine plan. 4. The role of the mind, heart, and intentions. The Bible teaches that one's inner thoughts and intentions are as significant as external actions. In this sense, inner transformation, alignment with God's will, and purity of heart are key to shaping one's reality. Key verses on the heart and mind. Proverbs 4 verse 23. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. The heart in biblical terms is the center of emotions, desires, and will. The condition of the heart influences the actions and outcomes in a person's life. Romans 12 verse 2. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. Transformation comes from renewing the mind to align with God's truth. This is very similar to the metaphysical idea that changing one's consciousness can transform their experience of reality. 5. God's will and the manifestation of purpose. Biblically, manifestation is always understood in the context of God's will, sovereignty, and divine purpose. While human thoughts and desires play a role, they are ultimately subordinated to God's overarching plan. True manifestation, from a Christian perspective, is about aligning personal desires with God's will. Key verses on aligning with God's will. Jeremiah 29 verse 11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope. This verse highlights that God has a plan for each individual, and aligning with His will is key to realizing one's true purpose and fulfilling their destiny. Matthew 6 verse 10. Your kingdom come, your will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Jesus teaches that our prayers and desires should align with God's will. True manifestation of God's promises happens when we submit our will to His divine plan. 6. Biblical metaphysical principles. While the Bible does not teach metaphysics in the same formalized sense as modern philosophy, it conveys several principles that can be interpreted as metaphysical. The unity of creation. Everything in the universe is interconnected under God's sovereignty. The physical and spiritual realms are deeply connected, and everything has purpose and meaning. Spiritual laws. The Bible speaks of spiritual laws, such as sowing and reaping, Galatians 6 verse 7, which echo metaphysical principles of cause and effect. These laws operate both in the spiritual and material realms. The power of belief. Belief in God, His promises, and His ability to act in the world is central to the Christian understanding of reality. Faith unlocks the power of God in the believer's life. Conclusion. The Bible presents a worldview in which reality is shaped by God's will, and human beings are called to align their faith, words, and actions with His purposes. While the Bible doesn't teach metaphysics or manifestation in the way modern spiritual practices do, it presents concepts of faith, prayer, and the power of belief that resonate with similar principles. For Christians, true manifestation comes through surrendering one's desires to God's will and trusting in His timing and plan.